So welcome back to the Installer Plaza, sponsored by our very good friends at Vaillant, and it's lovely to see some of you come and join us today as we're going to have a discussion about the new uniSTOR high recovery cylinder range. Now, which is going to be launched, we're seconds away really from this launch. It's very exciting, one of the first we're launching here at the show. Back in April, Vaillant made big headlines, not only with the launch of its brand new high recovery cylinder range, but also with the opening of its impressive new £40 million manufacturing facility in Derby, where these products are now being built. And the innovation just keeps on coming. We're here to kind of take a deep dive into Vaillant's newly launched uniSTOR high recovery cylinder range with its slimline format, pre-plumbed and non-plumbed options, and flexibility for use with heat pumps and boilers. And I'm delighted to say I've been joined by, well, an illustrious panel, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. Paul, I'm going to start with you. Who are you? Where do you come from?
Hi, Dave. My name's Paul Honeyman. I am Head of Product Management at Vaillant Group, where, exactly as you just said, we've invested heavily in a brand new cylinder plant this year.
Brilliant. Moving along.
Hi, Dave. My name's Phil Clarke. I'm the Head of Operations at PCL Net Zero. We're a design house and renewable solutions company rooted in the Lake District in the north of England. We specialise in renewable installations of heat pumps and solar PV.
Brilliant. Thank you. Moving along.
Hi, Tim Wren. Work for Solaris Energy in southeast Kent. Specialist in all things heat pumps.
And finally, but not least.
Hi there, I'm Jay Abley from Ecofuture. I'm the Operations Director, and Ecofuture's based in the northeast of England, covering a full renewables package.
Brilliant. Gents, welcome. The first morning, the first panel. So what a delight to have you here, and what an exciting show it looks like it's going to be this year. Paul, let me start with you. What was the aim and the thinking behind the development of this new uniSTOR range?
Clearly, the heat pump market is continuing to grow, and what we wanted to do was address the issue of storages that go along with heat pumps. Inherently, as we move away from combi boilers, etc., we're moving into a world of heat pumps and stored water and trying to find space for that cylinder. And we needed a range, effectively, of high recovery cylinders to complement heat pumps. Originally, the plan was to also deliver boiler cylinders as part of that project. We decided that the future is all high recovery. It's the way we should be going. And they complement basically the heat pump ranges that we've got.
What are the benefits for customers, though, with high recovery? I mean, why is it needed with a heat pump?
So because you've got a much better surface area, typically 2.5 square metres is a normal core size for the high recovery cylinders, you get much better recovery, not just from a heat pump, but also from a boiler. So the idea is that we are future-proofing people. So they can put these cylinders in, it will work with their standard boiler that they've got today, and then they're future-proof for if they decide to upgrade to a heat pump later or a hybrid system, etc. They are already ready with a high recovery coil. The difference being, obviously, that the higher square meterage means that you can get that better dissipation of heat with the very low outputs that kilowatt output that heat pumps tend to work at.
And what are some of the key features that sit alongside that high recovery element?
So what we wanted to do was try and address as much of the market as we could. We've got amongst the smallest housing stock in the whole of Europe. Airing cupboard is at a squeeze for a lot of people because the airing cupboard's been repurposed. We've spent the last 20 years as a 75% combi market, for instance, in the boiler world. So what we wanted to try and do is create a range of slimline cylinders, as well as the ones that we're launching today, which officially launched on September the 1st, the standard diameter, which is still fairly slim at 570. But we wanted to create a stackable buffer. A lot of installers were saying to me that right at the beginning of the project, well, we need to address space being at a premium, and we've come up with this patented stackable buffer solution whereby the buffer can go on the top of the cylinder, below the cylinder. We've also, for the first time ever, launched what they call a bubble top. So no need for a separate expansion vessel. The expansion is taken up within the cylinder. And that bubble top solution is favoured by about 50% of installers because it's a nice, neat solution, especially in new build properties. So there's a range to suit everybody. We've got pre-plumbed, we've got naked cylinders, so to speak, for where your pipe works a little bit. You've got to make things fit, shall we say, in a retrofit situation. So hopefully there's something for everyone.
You've got all bases covered, so to speak.
All bases covered,
all bases covered. So the buffer is very different for the uniSTOR. Tell us a little bit more about what it actually offers.
So the idea behind a buffer is essentially that you can discouple the heating circuit. Some people will use it as a volumizer, so they'll put it on the return leg of the heat pump going back. And that provides additional volume for the heat pump to operate long and slow. Heat pumps don't like being switched on and off a lot. They don't like being cycled. So leaving them on as long as possible is best practice. So enabling that extra 40 litres in the system or an extra 30 litres in the system allows the compressor to run for much longer, extends the life of your heat pump, and it also gives you a volume of water that you can use for the likes of defrost cycles. So when the unit goes into defrost at high humidity conditions and low temperatures, there's a body of water there rather than stealing heat from the house that it can draw on for defrost.
Thank you. Now, you three here, you're not just to sit there and listen to what we're saying. I want to drag you into the conversation, because that's the theory. Phil, Tim, Jay, you were all involved in the field trials of the cylinders. So I'd like to kind of delve into your lived experiences, if I may, of the cylinders. Jay, let me start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about the project that you actually worked on and what solution it provided?
The project we used the field trial for was an existing
just nice and
existing property. It had a very dated heating system in there from a timber frame self-build from the 80s. So what we were looking at is modernising the home. It had a vented cylinder on an immersion, and it had electric heating panel heaters in the ceilings. So very dated, very high electrical consumption. So very inefficient. The electrical bills were over £10,000 a year. So the client approached us to find a solution to try and assist them in making it a more affordable living, especially with energy prices
was that
increasing.
A big challenge for you?
No, it's not a big challenge, thankfully, because technologies are now available that help us package that together, and we have the skill set to knit them together to find that perfect solution. The challenge is integrating these technologies into an existing building, and that's where the bespoke solution has to come in. So having such a wide variety of products now becoming available enables us to have more options to cater for them bespoke solutions.
What's your client's reaction been?
Well, the client's bills are now £2,500 a year. So
he's happy, she's happy. That's brilliant. Phil and Tim, I believe you both replaced your heating system with a heat pump alongside the new 175-litre pre-plumbed uniSTOR. Phil, let me start with you. Tell us more about what you find worked well as part of the installation.
Yeah, so I decided to decarbonise my own property, and the natural solution was to use the Vaillant Aerotherm Plus air source heat pump. We coupled that up with the new uniSTOR bubble top cylinder. It was a perfect solution. We could remove the existing unvented cylinder, reduce the footprint with the slimline option from Vaillant. And we also had the luxury of putting the buffer vessel directly underneath, so it took up the same footprint, minimising any excessive use of wall space within the cylinder cupboard. We managed to design out to design the buffer vessel as a volumizer, so we could negate any post-buffer pumps, further reducing installation costs and speeding up the install. I actually live in the property, so the results I'm more than happy with. And originally, the aim was we coupled the system up with solar PV and battery storage at the same time. And the aim was to make the property carbon zero with PV offset. And actually, we managed to get the property carbon zero and also cost neutral as well. So yeah, I couldn't be happier with the final results. The thermal comfort's much better. Yeah, fantastic solution.
Brilliant. I've got to say, Paul, you're nodding away here. They've not been paid to come up with these answers. These are real-world tests and answers, aren't they?
What it does do, Dave, is it ensures that we've done our job properly, because we listen to installers and we ask them what they want, and what I'm hearing here is that we've delivered on that. And it's simple things like, for instance, a lot of the guys would say to me, don't make the top domed. And when you ask them why, it's as simple as, when I'm in an airing cupboard that's maybe 600 by 600, I've got no floor space. Where do I put my tools? More importantly, where do I put my brew? Yeah, so if the top of the cylinder's flat, it means that there's room that they can use for tools and cups of tea and things.
Brilliant. Tim, where do you keep your brew? I mean, that's the question of the day. Where do you keep your brew? But Tim, let me turn to you. What did your install testing involve, and how did you find it?
Well, having worked in plumbing and heating all my life, and particularly heat pumps for the last 4 years, I decided to put my money where my mouth is and say, heat pumps work in old properties. I've got an old Victorian flat, big high ceilings, And
You'd need high ceilings.
yes,
You're quite a tall
yeah.
bloke. I mean.
So I wanted to make sure, and the opportunity from Vaillant came along. We worked with Vaillant quite closely. We've fitted several hundred of their heat pumps, and this opportunity came along, and I jumped at it because I wanted to make sure that it worked. And like Phil, the comfort levels in the property are way superior to what they were before. There's no peak and troughing of temperatures. It's a very constant temperature. The cylinder itself replaced an existing unvented cylinder, so that was very straightforward. And yeah, it's performing brilliantly. I've got 4 children, 2 of which have been living with us, which are girls. So having lots of hot water has been very, very important. And we haven't run out yet.
This
so
is a tired
there you
father,
go.
doesn't it? I mean, just, what are the age range of your kids?
Oh, from 27 to 24.
But I bet you love having them at home still, those 2.
No,
Let's
they've
not
all
answer
gone
that.
now. Perfect.
And it's lovely hearing the advocates here, and actually, they're kind of your best advertisement, aren't they?
Yeah, we use our field trials as part of the case study, so it all helps with the the marketing collateral around a big launch. As you said right at the beginning, we've invested £40 million in a factory not far from here in the Midlands, which is sole purpose in life is to roll these cylinders out to the mass market, and it's going very well. So to hear their experience at a very early stage when we're still doing field trials is really positive. And actually some of the feedback that we got encouraged changes sort of halfway through and tweaks and improvements, if you like, as well.
Yeah. So it's being flexible in order to take on those.
Absolutely, yeah.
And guys, let me ask you, to others in the industry who may be thinking of fitting one of these cylinders, what are the top, and jump in as you feel like, what are the top features you'd like to sort of kind of highlight? Anybody wants to jump in?
I think the flexibility of the buffer vessel is probably one of the biggest selling points for me and my installers at the company. I like that as well. They don't need to wall mount additional. Really.
Can I ask you to hold it like that?
Sorry,
Because your voice goes across the top.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy, but
It's, So we're going to be hopefully specifying the ground-mounted buffer vessel a lot more often. It means that the homeowner doesn't have to tolerate losing wall space, and we don't have to worry about mounting really heavy equipment on stud partition walls and such like.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be a great piece of technology to be able to offer our customers.
brilliant. Tim, what about you? Oh, Jay, yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say that our biggest, our biggest struggle isn't the location of the heat pump. It's where our batteries going in people's homes in hot water cylinders. And now, with this new cylinder range, it's the diversity and the sizing of the cylinder. It's being able to offer that, because currently having a small 150 slimline does not cater for a 4-bed house in the same way as some of these new cylinder ranges can, with the higher 200 litre volumes. So that's really helping us find a solution.
And was that part of the planning? I mean,
Very-
deliberate, or are you going
very
to claim it as deliberate?
Yeah, no, very much so. In fact, right at the very beginning of the project, I was talking to a housing association whose name escapes me, Norfolk, Suffolk way. And they were doing a lot of installs for heat pumps, trying to decarbonise their housing stock. And a lot of these were like 1- and 2-bed granny flats, bungalows, if you like. And they'd done away with bathrooms in favour of shower rooms, and they were using electric showers. So they're putting heat pumps in, and the hot water usage is actually very, very low. They were servicing maybe a kitchen sink and a bathroom sink. So they said, give me the smallest cylinder that you possibly can. And we targeted trying to get a 60 or a 70 litre for that exact use case.
Right.
Unfortunately, because of the engineering that's gone into the coil to maintain maximum recovery on the cylinder, the smallest we could actually deliver was 90 litres. And when we delivered 90 litres to the mass market, they said, well, what's the use case for that? And actually, it's now our biggest seller. They are flying
Really?
out the door. Yeah, for that exact reason. Where it's the
It was all
smallest one on the
planned. It
market.
was
All planned, yeah. And I'm
Big-
going to take the credit for it as well, Dave.
Brilliant. And Tim, sorry, you were going to say, just from your point of view.
Well, one of the things that is constant in our industry, it seems, is the lack of space we are given to install plant. So the small footprint and the buffer on top or underneath is a massive selling point for, there's your cupboard, fit it all in there, crack on, which is difficult at times. So this being much smaller, no buffer alongside, makes installs so much simpler.
And your brew, of course, not forgetting the brew. Phil and Tim, let me ask you, you've not only fitted the cylinders, as you said earlier, the benefits you've shared with us, particularly with 5 women in the house, I think you're right in saying altogether. What else have you found as a customer? Enough hot water when you need it?
Yeah, the property's never run out of hot water. The system only does a cylinder charge once in 24 hours. Initially, we did actually install a 175, and we've increased that to a 210 litre now, it's never run out of hot water since then. From a thermal comfort point of view, with the air source heat pump, it's dramatically improved. The efficiencies are really high. So the running costs are, like I say, they're zero over the heating season. I can't complain with anything at all. Your standing heat loss is very low. Very efficient piece of equipment.
Brilliant. And Tim, when you've got the extended family at home, maybe at Christmas or celebrations or whatever, have you got enough hot water?
Plenty of hot water. Just got to make sure to try and only heat it when the electricity is cheap, which makes a massive difference. Like Phil, I put 210 back in instead of the 175, and absolutely no problems whatsoever.
Thank you. Paul, helping installers make the move into the heat pump market is something Vaillant clearly feels strongly about. How does the development of these new cylinders fit into those plans?
It's quite a difficult one in terms of getting installers to move from gas, first of all, into heat pumps, let alone the cylinder world. We've got maybe 120,000 gas-safe engineers, and we're touching on 3,000 NCS accredited engineers for heat pumps. So there's a massive skills gap to begin with. But the guys who are making the move, and we've launched an initiative at Installer this year actually, today, My Vaillant Install, which looks at ways of starting that MCS journey for installers by installing and supporting them to install a heat pump in their own home. And that's probably the first step. A number of these installs that we did with the field trials were in their own homes. And that's the best way to get comfortable with this technology, and it's only going to grow. It seemed crazy to us that if you're going to change a cylinder, a boiler cylinder that pops today, you're not going to necessarily replace it with another boiler cylinder, because that cylinder, the shell on it is guaranteed for 25 years. It could easily last 30 or 40 years. So what's the point of putting in a boiler cylinder anymore? You might as well go for a high recovery option, and then should your next boiler be a heat pump, you're already ready from the hot water side of things to make that transition. And of course the cost is much less as well, because for the sake of an extra 100 quid or whatever you pay for a high recovery cylinder over a boiler cylinder, you've reduced the cost of your heat pump install in 10 years time.
So what do you see as the biggest opportunity moving forward as far as you're concerned?
Growth, I think, is we've got to try and grow this market as best we can. We're responsible for doing that. It's about training, it's about offering training, it's about initiatives like My Vaillant Install, it's about getting people through the doors at our 7 centres of excellence, it's about growing installers' businesses for them. We tend not to at Vaillant target end users and homeowners as part of what we do. We talk to installers about what they want from our products, from our services, and then hopefully we deliver on that request, and then they become our biggest advocates, and they help to grow the market significantly.
I'm going to ask you kind of a final question, if you like, to the three of you. He's said enough now. He's an advocate. We know he is. I just wonder, is there anything you'd like to add on the new uniSTOR cylinders? Anybody?
Yeah, what we've got here is a product that's been made in the UK. So we as a company take pride in buying UK product. For starters, it's carbon footprint, the journey, it's not being imported across. We have that. It's also been thought about for installers. So not only is it now convenient with the size and range, but all of the connection points are accessible from the front of the cylinder. So where these are going to be positioned, which is in a very tight space.
We all know size matters.
Everything's at the front, and it makes our lives a lot easier. So our installation team's now happy having that product to go away and install. So we've got installers who are happy, homeowners are happy because they're getting a UK product at a good price point as well. And obviously with the warranty backed in the range, we can offer it pretty much every single time as a solution. So they've covered pretty much every base, which is nice to see from a manufacturer.
Yeah. Tim, are you happy?
Very happy. I would echo something Paul said. The whole of your heating installation, future-proof it now. If you're changing radiators, for example, make them heat pump ready. Everything you do now will help you in the future, because heat pumps are going to be the norm.
There you go. You heard it here. Heat pumps are going to be the norm. Phil?
Yeah, just to reiterate what Jay just mentioned there about the Vaillant is obviously a German company, but the manufacturing facility is based here in the UK. It supports a lot of UK employment, and also the embodied carbon is much lower. Installing a UK manufactured product. The warranties are also very good, but they're not just written on paper. They're supported incredibly well by the group. Whenever there's an issue with a Vaillant product, we know that we're going to be able to lean on the company to get it resolved quickly. So yeah, we're definitely advocates for the company, and we're definitely advocates for the new cylinder.
Brilliant. Yeah, go on.
Just to echo on that point that Phil's just made there, it's really important for us that because we've brought the manufacture of the heat pump to Belper, and we manufacture all of our heat pumps at Belper for the UK market, it was important that to lower our carbon footprint that we could do this very close to Belper, and the factory that builds these cylinders is actually 7 miles down the road in Derby. And we're very proud to take installers around and show them the facilities that we've got and the state-of-the-art manufacturing production facilities that we have. And hopefully, going forward, once the cylinder's fully up and running, it would be nice to be able to open that cylinder plant as well and show installers around exactly what we do and how we do it to the quality that we do in Derby as well as in Belper. Because we're even moving to electric lorries now. So the shunt that goes between the two is actually an electric lorry. That's only in the last few weeks that started, but that was a project that we did with Volvo. And it's very off-putting when you see something that size coming at you completely silent. It's
you can't
weird.
hear it.
Exactly, it's weird. I would like to say as well, we're giving a cylinder away at 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. I mean, this is fantastic. I bet you guys wish you put it. Have you entered this as well? You can sell it on. I mean, eBay's a marvelous thing. Now, go on. So what's happening at 12 o'clock?
Yeah, so we've got lots of names in a hat that we're going to draw out at 12 o'clock, and they're going to go into the...
You've got a wind tunnel, have you?
Yeah, a wind tunnel with lots of balls. Think kind of Crystal Maze goes Vaillant. If they catch enough balls, then they can win themselves a brand new cylinder from our new plant, yeah.
Brilliant. Jay, I always wondered what you did since you worked on the Crystal Maze, but I just... I bet you wish he had his money. Listen, guys, thank you so much. It's been brilliant having you along here. Thanks for sharing all of that with us. Are you enjoying it? Have you had a chance to have a look round yet at all? Yes? No? Go on. No. Go on. Jay, you have. What's your impression of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great turnout. Since this has been going, it's just got bigger and bigger and
How many
bigger,
years have you been coming?
4 years.
4 years?
4 years now.
What about yourself, Tim? How long have you been coming?
Too long, I would have thought, because I'm probably the oldest here. So, yeah, I've probably been coming. How long? How old's the show? Got to be
10 years old.
There you
10
go.
years old this year.
10 years.
The very first. Well, it's changed since that first one. What was then the Rico?
Yeah, way bigger now.
Way bigger. And what about yourself, Phil?
Yeah, so I don't make it down every year because I have quite a journey to get here.
It sounds like it from your accent.
Yeah, I'm quite northern in comparison to you guys down here. So yeah, it's quite a long drive. I've been coming for about 7 years, but not every year.
Brilliant.
And definitely, it seems like this show is now starting to overshadow a lot of the smaller, now becoming smaller industry shows. So yeah, well done to you guys.
Brilliant.